Once upon a time, in a small village nestled among rolling hills and quiet valleys, there lived a young man named Hero. The village itself was peaceful. The mornings were greeted by soft sunlight spilling over green slopes. Farmers rose early, children laughed along dirt paths, and the evenings were filled with the scent of cooked rice and the sound of distant flutes. To most who passed through, it was a place of stillness. But for Hero, peace felt impossibly far away. Hero was known throughout the village for his restless mind. While his body remained in one place, his thoughts were never still. He replayed past conversations endlessly, wondering what he should have said differently. He imagined futures that had not yet arrived, worrying about what could go wrong. His mind jumped from memory to fear, from hope to regret, without pause. At night, while others slept easily, Hero lay awake staring at the ceiling, his thoughts racing like a river after heavy rain. Even during the day, while working or speaking with others, his attention drifted inward, tangled in endless analysis. People often told him, "You think too much." But Hero did not know how to stop. He had tried everything he could think of. He worked harder, hoping exhaustion would quiet his mind. He prayed longer, hoping silence would come. He distracted himself with tasks and conversations, but the moment he was alone, the noise returned. The more he searched for peace, the further it seemed to slip away. One evening, while sitting at the edge of the village watching the sun disappear behind the hills, Hero overheard two travelers speaking in hushed tones. They spoke of a Zen master who lived atop a distant mountain. The master, they said, was known for his profound wisdom and deep tranquility. People claimed that sitting near him felt like standing beside a calm lake, clear, still, and undisturbed. It was said that those who sought him out often returned changed, carrying a quiet strength within them. Hero listened intently. For the first time in a long while, his thoughts slowed. That night, he made a decision. If peace could not be found within the village, he would search for it beyond. At dawn, Hero packed a small bag, bowed to his home, and began his journey toward the mountain. The path was long and difficult. He walked through forests where sunlight barely touched the ground, crossed narrow streams over slippery stones, and climbed steep trails that left his legs trembling. Some days the wind was harsh. Other days the heat pressed heavily against his skin. As his body grew tired, his mind continued its endless chatter. What if the master cannot help me? What if I am wasting my time? What if peace is something I am simply not meant to have? Yet something within him urged him forward. After many days of travel, Hero finally reached the summit. There, surrounded by quiet stone walls and flowering trees, stood a small dwelling. The air felt different, lighter, as though the mountain itself breathed slowly and deeply. In the courtyard, Hero saw the Zen master. The old man sat cross-legged, eyes closed, his posture relaxed yet upright. His face was calm, untouched by strain or worry, as if time itself moved more slowly around him. Hero felt a sudden nervousness, but stepped forward and bowed deeply. "Master," Hero said, his voice trembling slightly, "I have traveled far seeking your guidance. My mind is restless. It is filled with worry, fear, and endless thought. I yearn for inner peace. Can you teach me how to empty my mind?" The Zen master opened his eyes and looked at Hero. His gaze was gentle, steady, and clear. "Empty your mind," the master repeated softly, a faint smile appearing on his lips. "Very well. I will teach you." Without another word, the master rose and gestured for Hero to follow. They walked into a small courtyard adorned with a simple but beautiful garden. Smooth stones lined the ground, and flowering plants swayed gently in the breeze. At the center of the courtyard stood a large stone basin, filled completely to the brim with water. Nearby rested a small empty bowl. The master picked up a wooden ladle and dipped it into the basin, lifting a full scoop of water. Slowly, deliberately, he poured it into the smaller bowl. Then he turned to Hero. "Now," the master said, "your task is simple. You must empty the basin. Transfer all the water into the smaller bowl without spilling a single drop. Hero stared at the basin, then at the bowl. The task made no sense. The basin was enormous. The bowl was small. No matter how much water he poured, the basin would remain full. But Hero did not question the master. He bowed and began. He dipped the ladle into the basin and poured carefully into the bowl. Again and again, he scooped and poured, his movements precise, his focus intense. Time passed unnoticed as he worked tirelessly. Yet the basin remained full. His arms grew sore, his shoulders tightened. Frustration crept into his chest. Why is this not working, he thought. I am doing everything correctly. He worked faster, then slower. He concentrated harder, trying to control every movement. Still, nothing changed. His thoughts grew louder. This is impossible. I am failing again. I knew this journey was pointless. Hours passed and Hero's mind grew more restless than ever. The Zen master watched quietly. Finally, the master stepped forward and gently placed his hand on Hero's shoulder. Hero, he said softly, you are trying very hard to empty the basin, but you have forgotten the first and most important step. Hero looked up, exhaustion and confusion in his eyes. What step is that, master? He asked. The master smiled warmly. To empty the basin, he said, you must first empty your mind. Hero frowned. But master, how do I empty my mind? My thoughts never stop. The master's voice remained calm. Let go, he said. Let go of your worries. Let go of your fears. Let go of your need to control the outcome. Focus only on this moment, this single scoop of water. Nothing else exists. Hero took a deep breath. He realized that in trying to empty the basin, he had been fighting himself. He had been thinking about success, failure, time, and results. His mind had been everywhere except where his hands were. Slowly, he exhaled. He released his frustration. He stopped trying so hard. He lifted the ladle again, but this time, he focused only on the sound of the water, the weight of the ladle, the gentle movement of his arms. There was no goal, no expectation, just the action itself. Something shifted. His movements became smooth and effortless. His breathing slowed. The noise in his mind faded, replaced by quiet awareness. He entered a state of flow, fully present in each moment. And then something remarkable happened. With each scoop, the water seemed to move naturally, effortlessly. The basin slowly began to empty. The bowl filled, was emptied again, and filled once more. Time passed, but Hero no longer noticed. At last, he poured the final drop. The basin was empty. Hero looked up, stunned. The Zen master nodded. You see, the master said, when you empty your mind, you allow life to move through you. You stop resisting and you stop forcing. You become one with the task and everything falls into place. Hero bowed deeply, tears forming in his eyes. In that moment, he understood. Peace was never something to chase. Clarity was never something to force. They were always waiting, beneath the noise. Hero returned to his village days later, unchanged in appearance, but transformed within. His life was still filled with work, challenges, and uncertainty. But his mind no longer ruled him. Whenever his thoughts began to race, he remembered the basin, the water, and the simple act of presence. And in remembering, he found peace. Remembering, he